Today, I would like to introduce all of our birds. I'd like to talk about each one and what we've accomplished since we've got them, kind of what our priorities are with each bird, what they need to be working on, and maybe some other stuff that we plan to do in the future, or other stuff that isn't as high of a priority, but something that we might be working on with them, and just some general information on each one. And this will also be a nice little way to document where we are with each of our birds and how they're doing, and we could do this again in the future and see what kind of progress we've made. So let's get started. Spikey, come here, buddy. Peter, you get your turn next. Ugh. All right, so Spike, our Moluccan Cockatoo. He is 26 years old. He's been in quite a few of my videos since I've gotten him. He's just got such a personality, and he's a cockatoo, so he gets very animated and he's very social bird, and talks a lot and jumps around and does all kinds of goofy things. He's 26 years old. We got him from a couple who needed to rehome him. Husband was working from home, and he was just being too loud, probably in the cage because he had to work, so he would just make a lot of noise. Yeah, Spike can be very loud. I did make a video recently on just how loud he can be, if you want to check that one out. But like I said in that video, if he's happy and he's not locked up in his cage, which we don't keep our birds in our cages all day. They just go in there for sleep and for lunch and dinner. Okay, so one of the cool things about him is how social he is and how he loves being here. Like, he's just content just sitting here with me, but he will rarely want to just go perch somewhere and sit like this because he wants to be with people. And that's great, but something we need to work on is getting him to be a little bit more independent, finding him stuff to do where we don't have to be with him the entire time. But really, I mean, for a large bird, for a cockatoo, I think we got really lucky. I mean, he's very tame. He's big and he's strong. He could be very dangerous if he was aggressive. Which brings me to the next thing. Spike, like a lot of cockatoos, can be aggressive towards feet. So that's something that we're working on. It's kind of hard to do. There's different ways you can deal with that. You could just have them not be on the floor at all, which I know some people do that. They just don't let their birds on the floor, because cockatoos and other birds as well can be aggressive towards feet. Don't know why. It's just something they do. Another thing you're supposed to do is to not react, because if you react, it can make them, more eager to attack, or they could think you're playing, or just contributing to what they're doing. But that is really hard to do. When you got a large bird with a big strong beak coming after your feet, and he does hit you with his beak, or tries to bite you, or does bite you, it's kind of hard to just not react to it. What I do at times, especially if he's going to be on the floor or he's acting a little bit like that, I actually wear some pretty strong boots to protect my feet. Some might think that's, avoiding the problem, but when he goes after my feet, I'm not even reacting to him doing anything. Like, I'm not running away from him. If he does hit me with his beak, I'm not jumping or yelling or reacting. And a lot of times he will just stop. He's not accomplishing whatever he's trying to accomplish. Peter's trying to chew on the camera here. What are you doing, man? Yep, there's Peter's head. Down. You'll be next, okay? So I honestly think I'm having better results doing that than if I were to just, react and then maybe just have to put him up somewhere, or put him in his cage for a little bit for him to calm down. That could be something to do if you have to put him in his cage, and then he'll calm down a little bit, because he does. If he gets really excited and overstimulated, you just put him in his cage for 5 minutes, and then he has totally calmed down and he's kind of reset. But that tends to be a very negative thing, to get him in the cage, and that doesn't. Birds don't learn very much from that kind of discipline, like yelling at them or sticking them in their cage, and then it just upsets them more. But it does give them a chance to reset, which works. But anyway, like I was saying, with the protective boots, that's what I'm doing right now. It seems to be working really well. I mean, I've made huge progress since we've had him. So this, like anything, is just something that needs to take time and patience, and it's getting better, and I'm sure it'll keep getting better. So now it happens less and less, and when it does, it's not a big deal because I have found a way to not bring attention to it. All right, so that's Spike. All right, Spike, you're free to go. Gizzy. You're not a bird though. All right, so here is Chip and Pringle. I'm gonna do these guys together. They are brothers. They're both about a year old right now. We got them at 9 months old. This is Chip. He has got a smaller tail. And this is Pringle. And Pringle can fly better, I can tell by that. And Chip is a little more ambitious, like that. All right, so these guys are super tame. They are really, really very easy to take care of. And they're smart. You know, we do training with them. They do really, really well. So their thing that we're gonna be working on, which I have a couple videos I just posted very recently about cage aggression. So that's their main thing right now. And that might be something that we can't eliminate. I mean, maybe it'll get better as we can maybe train them to move off of the cage with treats, you know, or with a targeting stick. But right now, when they're in their cage, when they're on their cage, walk by their cage, they just get all loud and they don't want you to touch them. They don't, I mean, they'll try to bite you. And it can be, it can happen with all kinds of parrots. It is very common with Quaker parrots, although it's not always like that. Some Quaker parrots aren't like that at all. So that's what we're working on mainly with them. That's our top priority with the Quaker parrots. Hi guys. Quaker parrots can be very vocal and very good at mimicking. So that's one thing I'm doing when I'm doing training is try to get them to repeat a noise or say hi or hello. And yeah, see, he's heard me say it probably, and you know, and they'll make a noise back. You know, not all Quaker parrots will talk. It's pretty common for them to. We'll see if they eventually do. While working with them right now, we're just kind of getting them to respond. Hello. Yeah. All right, so that and they're starting to grow their wings back. Their wings were clipped when we got them, and they're growing back. They're starting to fly a little bit better. They can make it, you know, across the house before they get to the ground because they can't fly up yet. But when they do, that'll be something that we'll be working on with, is getting them from one place to another. And I've already started doing them some training with jumping from one surface to another, which is kind of like a small flight pretty much. So they've been doing that. Try to get some videos posted of training with the Quaker parrots with jumping, and definitely with flying when that time comes. All right, guys, you just want to stay there? Yeah, they're very, very content little birds. They're really cool. All right, here is Peter. Peter is our double yellow-headed Amazon. He is probably the least tame bird we have. The only reason I got him to my finger was because I used a treat. But that's also a good thing because he will do things for a treat. That's the whole idea, is do what you want for the reward. So he didn't want me to mess with him. He was kind of lunging at me like he would bite me if I touched him. And then I showed him the treat. And I was like, step up. And here he is. So we have not had him very long. He is 10 years old. He came from a home where someone just, once again, a lot of these rehome birds, people don't realize how much time you need, how much maintenance they can be, how loud they can be if you're not giving them the time they need. So same story with Peter here. Whoa! Whoa! So yeah, he can be a little aggressive, but he is definitely getting better. It's going to take a lot of time though. He is still, like I said, he's not very tame, and he wants to be a little too independent sometimes. So we do a lot of training with him each day, a lot of target training, and he loves treats, which makes training a little easier. Especially green apples. Yes, he loves the green apples, just like the Quakers do. So this is my daughter Lily. Hello. So he loves treats and he loves to do things for treats. So that makes the whole training thing a little bit easier, which is good because he's, like I said, he's definitely it's gonna take some time. Like I'm holding him now, and all he's doing is looking around, trying to figure out where he can go, where he wants to do. So. Cool thing about Peter is that he can fly.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll do some work with that as far as kind of training him where to go and stuff and all of that. But right now we're just working on more simple things just to get him used to us and more tame. You know, then we'll start doing more stuff.
Yeah, he's flown a couple times. Like he's flew from the table to the cat tree.
Yeah. And you will go right there to your cage. Oh, or on the cat tree. So he doesn't willingly fly that much. You know, I lift him up and point him towards something, he will. But it's not something that he's used to doing or comfortable with. I forgot to say with Spike, Spike does not fly. He's 26 years old and just has never had the practice probably. So maybe someday, you know, we'll work with him and get his muscles built up a little bit in his wings, and maybe he'll be able to do that someday. Come here, buddy. Step up. I got a treat. Step up. See, he'll step up for a treat. He didn't really want me to mess with him, but, you know, he will do it for a treat, and that makes him happy, so that's all good. What are you doing? Now, where do you want to go, buddy? Go to the spikes on your cage. You want to go to this cage? There you go. My God. Here, buddy. Okay, so this is Yoshi. She is one of our green cheek conures. She is not quite as shy as Kiwi, our other one. She doesn't really like being handled, and that's the main thing, and about the only thing that we can work on at this point. We do some target training, you know, touch the stick for a treat, and she does that all right.
Someone lost a feather.
Looks like a conure feather. All right, we'll see if we can get Kiwi over here before we end this.
So
that was Kiwi. So basically, we're just kind of handling them a little bit each day, and they're, you know, even though they're like this right now, this is way better than they used to be. It really is.
We actually didn't even choose to get. We actually, like, when we got Yoshi, my mom was like, my mom saw her alone in the cage, and she felt bad for her, so that's how we got Yoshi. We weren't even planning to get her, unlike with the Quakers, Peter and Spike.
Yeah, it's kind of a spur of the moment thing. Yeah, she's coming along. I mean, even though we can barely even get Kiwi over here, they are both actually way better than they were when we first got them. So it's just going to take a lot of time. They were about 4 months old, I think, when we got them. So they probably were not hand tame or hand fed. I don't know for sure, but basically we're kind of starting from scratch there, and they're already 4 months old.